Fellow countrymen and women, over the last 1.5 years, when I launched the movement for change, I've had the opportunity of traveling around the country, from north to south, east and west. I've been humbled but excited about the exceptional show of genuine love and organic support for my candidature. If there was ever a period in the history of Ghana when a compelling case has been made for change, I believe that the time is now. For the majority of Ghanaians, after 32 years in power, the duopoly of the NPP and the NDC have failed to deal substantively with the fundamental challenges confronting our nation. The economy is in crisis, and for the 17th time over the last 6 decades, we have had to go back to the IMF with cap in hand, begging for alms. For a country that is endowed with so much natural resources and amazing human capital, this is certainly not acceptable. The duopoly has not been able to keep our lights on and to deal with doomsday. There is still widespread corruption, and the two parties seem to be at each other's throats about which of them is more corrupt. The scourge of Galamsey, with the pollution of our water bodies and the desecration of our forests, is a tragedy of history. The level of unemployment, particularly amongst the youth, has reached alarming proportion. All of the above reasons, and many more, have ignited amongst Ghanaians a strong resistance against returning either the NDC or the NPP to power. Fellow countrymen and women, against this background, the message of the movement of change, of moving Ghana from a state of instability to stability, to growth, to resilience, and to prosperity, has been wholeheartedly embraced by the majority of Ghanaians, rich, poor, old, and young. The formulation and launching of the Great Transformational Plan, GTP, as the new policy blueprint, which will transform Ghana into an upper middle class economy within a decade, has opened a new chapter in the socio-economic development agenda of Ghana. Fellow countrymen and women, what is at stake in this year's general election is a quest for transformational leadership and not the deepening of partisanship. Ghana has been sharply divided on almost every issue between the NPP and the NDC. This does not augur well for our fledgling democracy. I'm therefore committed to establishing an all-inclusive government of national unity when I become president, which would include people from different political persuasions, traditional authorities, the business community, labor unions, farmers, fishermen, civil society, youth groups, women's groups, academia, and the media. I'll fight corruption through leadership by example, as well as through legislative reform that will consolidate all existing laws on corruption and establish the office of an anti-corruption czar with separate prosecutorial powers outside the control and jurisdiction of the Attorney General. I'll introduce a new sanctions regime that will be a strong deterrent against corruption. This will be in addition to the heightening of citizens' advocacy against corruption. Fellow countrymen and women, my 10-point agenda on the fighting of Galamsey will place a 1-year temporary ban on all small-scale mining, during which period the turbidity of all water bodies will be reduced, all degraded lands regenerated through afforestation and plantation development of tree crops and commercial food crops. Young people currently engaged in galamsey through exploitation by people in high political positions will be assisted to establish new mining companies to be owned by groups of young people and provided with seed capital to acquire heavy-duty machinery and equipment and be trained in responsible mining. All the necessary permits and licenses will be granted to these youth-owned companies, whilst experienced management professionals will be recruited to support their operations. For the avoidance of doubt, there will be a total ban on all mining in river bodies and forest reserves. Fellow countrymen and women, the new policy interventions in the field of infrastructure development, health, and educational sectors will be driven by a policy shift from public sector funding to private sector financing of these sectors. This will not only reduce government expenditure, but also expand the provision of services in these sectors and introduce greater efficiency and improve quality standards in service delivery. Finally, fellow countrymen and women, what is arguably the most fundamental challenge of our time, which is dealing with the economic crisis and the problem of unemployment, has been comprehensively addressed in the GTP. This includes, amongst other things, stabilizing our local currency, taming inflation, maintaining fiscal discipline, bringing our debt levels to sustainable levels, and reducing interest rates and lowering taxes. This will be the foundation for establishing an enterprise economy in Ghana. In addition, my government will incentivize the private sector, both local and foreign, to invest heavily in the productive sectors of the economy, particularly in industry, agriculture, and tourism, in line with proposals for an industrial transformation and a new agricultural revolution in Ghana. This will be the entry point for the new wave of job opportunities in Ghana. It is in line with this vision that I have created the new digital platform, www.3mjgh.com, which offers the young people of Ghana 3 million jobs within a period of 1 year under an Alan Chematin presidency, just by uploading their CV on the online platform and indicating their areas of interest. Fellow countrymen and women, on the eve of the 2024 general elections, which I consider to be the watershed elections in Ghana's history, I would like respectfully to ask you to vote for change by voting for Alan John Kwadwo Chematin based on my vision, competence, integrity, and capacity to execute. Vote Asieho. I'm the last on the ballot paper. It will indeed be an honor and privilege for me to serve as the next president of the Republic of Ghana and the commander-in-chief of the Ghana Armed Forces. Moving for change, Ghana will rise again. God bless our homeland, Ghana, and make our nation great and strong. I thank you for your kind attention.